Traditional motor vehicles are a top cause of air quality problems in Utah, suggesting we should encourage a shift to alternative fuel vehicles. In late 2019, Utah Foundation released a major report on this topic, Driving Toward a Cleaner Future: Alternative Fuel Vehicles in Utah. It examines the incentives and disincentives around both alternative fuel passenger vehicles and heavy-duty fleet vehicles. Electric vehicles, or battery electric cars and plug-in hybrids, make up less than 2% of the nation's new vehicle market share. In Utah, electric's market share is even lower, 1.6%. Addressing consumer fears is a core challenge in alternative fuel vehicle adoption. Americans worry about running out of power, the availability of charging stations, and vehicle cost. Looking at aggressive incentives in Norway and top-tier American states, large electric vehicle incentives do seem to work, but such incentives can be expensive. Smaller incentives, meanwhile, may be a waste of money. Changing market preferences appear to be a much stronger force. For instance, Utah's relatively small electric vehicle tax credit was not renewed in 2016, yet electric vehicle market share has continued to increase. The 10 states with the highest growth in market share offer no incentives. As to the cost impediment, time should help resolve that problem. Electric passenger vehicles are expected to cost the same as their internal combustion counterparts by the mid-2020s. This is due in large part to the sharply declining cost of lithium-ion batteries. As to fears about running out of power and the availability of charging stations, Utah's electric vehicle charging infrastructure is rapidly expanding. To promote the embrace of alternative fuel vehicles, governments and nonprofits should mount far-reaching public information campaigns to explain the availability of alternative fuel infrastructure and address consumer fears. They should also encourage private actors to deploy alternative fuel infrastructure for customers, tenants, employees, and visitors. Ultimately, market forces will propel consumer uptake of electric passenger vehicles. If Utah were to use tax credits at a level that encouraged a more immediate market embrace, it would have to make a huge investment. But to limit the fiscal impacts and discourage fence-sitting, it should consider a short-term program. But Utah may get a better air quality return on its investments by focused incentives on heavy-duty fleet vehicles rather than passenger vehicles. Large fleet vehicles account for 1/3 to 1/2 of Utah's vehicle emissions, even though they account for just 3% of the vehicle miles traveled. One heavy-duty truck's emissions amount to those of many cars. Alternative fuel heavy-duty vehicles offer large fuel and maintenance savings, and the technology continues to evolve. In fact, the newest heavy-duty natural gas engine technologies offer unprecedented emissions improvements. But they are more expensive than diesel and require infrastructure investments. Due to the urgency of cleaning up Utah's air, replacing older diesel trucks with so-called clean diesel might also be a target for incentives, though at a more modest level. Looking ahead, cities and counties can do their part directly by retiring older public service heavy-duty fleets. For more information, find Driving Toward a Cleaner Future: Alternative Fuel Vehicles in Utah at utahfoundation.org. Thanks to UCAIR for providing grant support for this project.